Up, up, down, down, left, right, BA start. Okay, you probably know what I'm going to review next. That is, if you haven't already checked out the title of this video. You cheater. The thing most people think about when they hear Contra is the difficulty. As a kid, I never thought it was that difficult. Sure, it's had some tough moments, but when you practiced, it wasn't too bad. So when I loaded up the game the first time, I got my ass kicked. I needed the code to beat it again. And in case you lived underneath a rock for the past 20 years, the code gives you 30 lives to start with, unlike the normal 3. Believe it or not, I sucked so much through the first playthrough again, I used all the 30 lives by the time I hit stage 7. Thankfully, if you continue, you get the 30 lives back, though. But of course, I was determined. On subsequent playthroughs, I didn't use the code, and it took a few tries, but I was able to get through the game without using a single continue. Once you hit the final stage, it's a cakewalk in my opinion. Then again, I was running around with the scattergun, which lowers the difficulty tremendously for as long as you have it. Okay, let me slow down and start from the beginning, before I start getting all over the place. You play as a mercenary who is tasked with taking down an alien force named Red Falcon. It's threatening to terminate the entire human race, and of course you don't want that. You go to a remote jungle where the alien ship has supposedly landed, and you start to mutilate everything in your path. There's not much in terms of story, but it's there and it works for the game. You have to fight your way through a jungle, 2 bases, a waterfall, a snowfield, a hangar, and finally the actual body of the alien master. Now, I can see the jungle, waterfall, bases, and even the hangar going together. But where the hell did the snowfield come from? And why is this character as big as the trees? I don't know, I'm not gonna lie, this game is so good that I'm gonna be scraping the bottom of the barrel to find faults with it. The game has a 2-player option, and best of all, it's cooperative. And yes, the Konami code still works for both players too. Each player plays at the same time, competing with each other to see who can kill the most and grab the guns first. If each guy grabs the scattergun, the enemy's screwed. It also can be more difficult this way too. For example, on the waterfall stage, as you move up, the screen won't move down. If the one player goes too far up and the screen engulfs the second player will lose a life. Unfortunately, I didn't have anyone to play with, so I can't show you that. But take my word for it, or even better, play the damn game. The soundtrack will get in your head. It's epic from the first stage of the game. I actually have the first stage of music set as my morning alarm when I need to get up from work. Yeah, damn straight. Music sets the mood, from the adrenaline-pumping bass music to the dramatic snowfield and waterfall music. Even the bass boss music, which is a bit different in that it has different music than that of the regular stages, like the rest of the bosses, makes it feel like you're in a dangerous area and need to be super careful. The thing that most people remember about the game, well, other than the difficulty in the Konami code, is the smoothness of the control. Your character moves exactly where you want him to, and it's smooth and fluent. You can fire in all 8 directions, except for the base stages, in which the controls are slightly different, and I'll get to that in a bit. If you jump, you still have free reign on where to fire. You can fire while going prone, although it can be tricky to switch directions when you do this. If you press down and jump, you'll drop a level if possible. And the controls are necessary, as there are times where there are bullets flying everywhere and you need to attempt to dodge as much as possible, because this game is 1 hit equals 1 life. There is no health bar. And if you die, you lose whatever gun you're carrying and go back to the default one. Although the majority of the game is horizontally scrolling platforming, the 2 underground base levels are shown in a 3D perspective. You can only fire ahead, which is fine because enemies will only be ahead of you. An electric fence separates you from the wall. By pressing it, you won't get killed, but it'll just shock you, and if you get hit by a bullet, it's still going to kill you though. Your goal is to avoid all projectiles and shoot the glowing orbs on the wall. Destroying these orbs blows up the wall, allowing you to proceed to the next segment. At the end, you meet a boss, which essentially has 2 forms. A preliminary form where you blow up more orbs, and a second one which I guess is the brain of the computer system. Although the bosses can be pretty simple, getting there can be an ordeal. Power-ups are only given to you if you manage to shoot the enemy wearing red. This guy doesn't appear in every room, but if he does, he'll only show up once. If you miss him, he won't appear again unless you start the stage over via continue. Waiting for him can also be a problem, as you can easily destroy the wall seconds before he shows up. You have to weigh whether or not you can dodge bullets, rolling objects, and grenades for a single power-up. The best practices in this is to grab the scattergun and use that, as it wrecks everything in its path. I keep mentioning the scattergun, so I guess it's time to do a loadout check. You get your primary weapon, which, according to the manual, is a shotgun, but unless it's an AA-12, it just seems unlikely. Plus, I don't think shotguns have that kind of range. The next weapon you get access to is the machine gun. This is probably considered to be the second best gun in the game by many, for good cause. It's got the same power as a shotgun, but you can hold down B to fire it, making it an instant classic. The next weapon you probably see is a scattergun, which is the mother of all guns in this game. It fires 5 rounds at different angles, spraying them across the screen. If done right, you can cover the entire screen with these, but it can also miss targets. If you fire it close to something that requires multiple shots, you'll take it down very quickly. If you grab this gun, you're set until you die and lose it. The next gun is considered a flamethrower. It fires up to 3 spiraling balls of flame. It doesn't seem to do a ton of damage, but it has a wide area of attack, which is helpful in many stages. The final weapon is the laser. It's not bad, but it's not great either. You can only have one beam on the screen at a time, and if you fire a second, the first one disappears. If you let it hit something though, it does massive damage. Plus, this weapon is the only one that can go through the weaker enemies. It's not bad in a pinch, but its limitations make it less useful than the others. There's a few other power-ups you can grab as well. One is an R, which I guess stands for rapid fire. From what I've noticed, it makes your bullets fire faster. It's not a huge difference though. Another is barrier, which protects you for about 15 seconds or so. The only thing that'll kill you with this is the pits. The third power-up, which I've only noticed in one stage, is an eagle. It just kills everything on the screen. There's no limit on the amount of enemies that are firing at you. You have guys who occasionally fire at you, guys in stationary guns, two kinds of automated turrets, scuba guys, aliens, and even boulders. That's not even mentioning the bosses either. I already touched on the bosses of the second and fourth stages. The first boss is simply a fortified bunker, and your job is to take it out. The third boss, on the top of a waterfall, is a giant alien whose head you have to blow off to reveal the next base. Yeah, violence! Number 5 is pretty simple. It's just a floating ship that spawns smaller ships and fires bullets directly down from it. 6 is some large guy that occasionally throws spiked frisbees at you. He's easy enough to jump over. 7 is the fortified entrance to the boss alien that just sends hordes of enemies at you while 2 turrets fire projectiles that bombard you. I gotta say though, whose idea was it to have the alien master contain an automated door that ejects humanoid enemies? The final boss is an alien monster's heart, and it's pathetically easy. If you take out some of the spawners, it's less that attacks you and it makes it way easier to destroy the heart. Upon destroying the final boss, you get a small scene showing you escaping the island while it blows up. You get a congratulations screen and it says you should feel like a hero, and then the credits roll. But chances are you aren't even paying attention to that, because if it's your first time playing the game, you're basking in your pride. And before I forget, there are continues, but they're limited. It doesn't actually say how many you have left, but I think I used 3 and then on to the next game over, it sent me back to the title screen. Fortunately, the game can be completed in about 30 minutes if you know what you're doing. Oh, one last thing. Be careful when you respawn. If you respawn, jump out of the sky, and fall right into a pit, well, you just lost another life. I have to say, this game is an instant classic for me. It's difficult, but it's undeniably fun. Final score? 10 out of 10. This is Reaper, and happy fragging!